but I got to get this story out there because it's evolving. You said it to me yesterday, Jack. You were talking about Jeannie Buss, and I was talking about the Lakers sale, and I don't think Jeannie Buss can derail the Lakers sale from Mark Walters to, the team led by Josh Kushner and Bob Iger. But this story it's like when you start pulling the cord there, or pulling the string in the yarn. It's unraveling now for Mark Walter, it appears. So let's take you back, Jack, and walk with me through this. 2012, guy named Mark Walter stunned the sports world and certainly everybody in equity when he closed a deal that left wealthy rivals wondering how the heck did he do that. He was the chief executive of something called Guggenheim Partners. So this is almost 15 years ago now. It's a little known at the time LA-based equity firm. And he funded the deal. And everybody's like, well, who's this guy? And how did he pull that off? He just bought the crown jewel Dodgers. One of the premier teams and brands in all of sports. Certainly Major League Baseball. Well, you fast forward nearly 15 years, Jack and folks. Listen, those same wealthy rivals and everyone in finance knows who Mark Walters is. And the international sports kingdom, and I do say kingdom, that he has built since that purchase and that deal in 2012. It spans nearly every sport and every season. And you need to know about his playbook to build the kingdom, right? That also is important here. What is that? Well, you use loans from insurance companies that he controls, right? You use loans from those insurance companies, and that funds the buys of this sports kingdom he oversees. Well, it's now that kingdom is under serious government scrutiny, and the time clock on his empire may be running out. And we'll explain that in a sec, but first let's back up. So in the years after the Dodgers deal, Walter bought stakes in the WNBA's LA Sparks, England's Chelsea FC, a Formula One racing team, global racing team. He also financed the Professional Women's Hockey League. While accumulating just trophy properties, he owns music mogul David Geffen's $85 million Malibu beach house. He's also gotten in partnership with big-name business partners like Lakers great Magic Johnson and a group named Mubadala Capital, an Abu Dhabi-based investment fund. Okay? This is all happening. And then 15 months ago, he added the absolute crown jewel of the crown jewels, the LA Lakers, to his sports stable. He bought the LA Lakers in a record-breaking deal that was sealed in about 72 hours, valued the NBA's franchise at about $10 billion. So he owns that too. He's got the Dodgers, he's got the Lakers, he's got the Sparks, he's got Chelsea FC. This guy, when we say empire or kingdom, this is what this is. And that crown jewel, the Lakers, Jackie owned for about 14 months. And we knew when this happened last week that all of a sudden after, buying the team, purchasing the team from the Buss family and that whole deal, and I'm so honored to own the Lakers, and then he turns around and abruptly sells it. It was June to August, essentially, 1 year later, that he sold it to Bob Iger and Josh Kushner for $12.5 billion. And immediately everybody said, why did he do that? And people knew he was under federal investigation. Well, again, serious federal scrutiny into these operations, and there are two separate investigations happening in real time into his financing of all of these deals. And let's take you back to that playbook we mentioned when he shocked everybody to buy the Dodgers in 2012, using loans from insurance companies he controls to finance his other investments. Well, shocker, over time, Jack, those insurance companies and those loans, well, they're coming due. You got to pay them back. Loans, you've had them, right?
No.
Well, and it's also the feds are involved because in addition to the loans being due, the feds believe and allege that Walter has funneled insurance premiums from his insurance companies into other business ventures, which is not illegal, but there are limits to how much is allowable. And according to the feds in their own court documents, he's overshot the runway by about $20 billion.
That's a lot.
Long and the short, because we are in the A block here, but Mark Walter has $1.1 billion coming due in about 6 weeks from today. So by October, he owes $1.1 billion. But he also owes another $6.5 billion by year's end. So you're talking about the owner. And again, this isn't the Lakers. This isn't the insurers. This is Mark Walters. He owes $6.5 billion. Or no, $7.6 billion by year's end. That's about 90 days. Does he have it? Okay, so I pulled this for you. Eric Jackson is a strategic management PhD from Columbia Biz School. He's currently an equity capitalist. He's been digging into the Walter Shell game since the Lakers sale. And last night on his social media, this guy, Eric Jackson, posted a 10-minute long deep dive into the financial crisis that the guy's in. And I'll spare you the long, boring parts because they're long and boring, but they're factual. It's all court documents. He reads from the court documents. He's not making this up, not like subjective. From his analysis here, can I play you the brass tacks that he's leaving out there for Laker fans, Dodger fans, baseball, sports? Shohei Ohtani, listen to this from last night. This is a guy named Eric Jackson.
The net of all this, Mark Walter's got to sell some stuff. He's only got a third of the way there. The LA Lakers doesn't cut it. And next on the docket for him is likely selling the LA Dodgers. And that might not even cover it. Watch for the quarterly filing that's going to be filed probably in the next week or so as the next shoe to drop in this whole case.
Okay, so he sold the Lakers. Not enough. Now he's got to sell the Dodgers. Okay. That's Eric Jackson, a PhD from Columbia Business School, breaking it down from court documents. And again, this is the LA Dodgers. They're in the middle of a run to a possible third consecutive world championship with the best roster in the game. But then the question's, sell it to who and for how much? And let's not forget, back to the sports angle of this, this is big business, this is finance. Let's not forget a major component here, and that is Shohei Ohtani.
The $700 million contract?
Who is owed still in the $680 million range by the Dodgers, but look at the court documents. He's owed that by Mark Walter. Most of the contract, as we know, famously, is deferred into the 2030s and 2040s.
And that's true for Blake Snell and Mookie Betts and all those guys.
But let's stick with Ohtani, okay? Because he does have the richest contract ever signed in sports history because he plays two positions, and they signed him and valued him as a pitcher and a hitter, and they gave him $700 million. But that contract is owned by an owner who is under federal investigation. So basically, there's a really strong chance here that Shohei Ohtani, who already got scammed by his interpreter, who's in jail now, it's possible that Shohei Ohtani gave the Dodgers a loan and is now looking like he might have loaned it to the wrong person. That's why I said earlier, Shohei Ohtani may not have slept very good last night. Reports he sleeps like 12 to 15 hours a night, sleeps soundly to recover his body and all these things. I don't know. So let's break down the money. Ohtani's contract is worth about $700 million. And right now, because of the contract structure, he takes home around $2 million a year, which there are Texas football players making well over $2 million a year. He's the best player on the planet, maybe the best player ever to play the game. And he's bringing home $2 million. Why did he do that? Because Mark Walters promised him that we will then invest to bring in other great players because he wanted to win. He was tired of the Angels thing where he was a great player, winning MVPs, but
not making
he and Mike Trout were the only good players on the team. So he didn't want that. Well, so again, the rest of that money, that $2 million a year he's bringing home, I'm sure he's living fine. That'll supposed to be paid out from 2034 to 2043 by contract. Well, who's agreeing? You just heard Eric Jackson say he's got to sell the Dodgers, and that may not be enough to get him what he owes by the end of the year. He doesn't have he's got 90 days to pay that first off by court you can go look at the court documents. He's got 90 days to pay the first $1.1 billion, and then he's got another $6.5 billion by the end of the year. Keep doing the math. So you just heard the finance expert say he's going to have to sell the Dodgers. To who? And is that new owner going to agree to pay that deal to Shohei Ohtani? I ain't buying that because, as you said, there are well over $1 billion on the Dodgers roster, 9 different players with payments deferred as long as 2047 when Edwin Diaz's deal expires. So essentially, and we talked about it, it's not unknown. What was unknown is what the dire financial straits the owner is in. But, Bobby Bonilla Day for the New York Mets where they pay him every July. Well, Mark Walters and the Dodgers took Bobby Bonilla Day, injected it with some of Barry Bonds and Mark McGwire's best stuff, and built a championship on layaway. They get the superstars today in the rings, but the bill is due in the 2040s. But who's going to pay it? And let's also be clear on this. Unlike most loans, when you take out a loan, these deferred payment contracts, there's no collateral. Shohei Ohtani does not have a personal guarantee on Dodger Stadium or something that he can lean back on. He's got a promise from Mark Walter. And again, it looks like he may have trusted the wrong guy. And if something happens cash-wise, Ohtani and his teammates, they're just another creditor standing in line for money. If you file for bankruptcy, Shohei Ohtani's first in line, but is he ever going to see any of that $680 million contract? But, and there is a badonkadonk size but, as my buddy Rod Babers would say, Nicki Minaj, Beyonce, all these buts, Ohtani's contract, that's why we can bring this back to the now. His contract includes a key man clause. It's called the key man clause. It says clearly, if Mark Walters sells the Dodgers, whether by choice or force, or team president Andrew Friedman were to leave, Ohtani has the option to opt out of the rest of his contract immediately. So play this out. Walter has to sell, as the finance expert says he's going to have to, and that still may not be enough. Shohei Ohtani could become a free agent overnight.
Today.
But there's a pending lockout. Free agent to what? And what of that $680 million that Ohtani is owed with zero collateral?
Yeah, I mean, think of like the last 4 years of Ohtani, some of the best baseball that's ever been played, maybe the best baseball that's ever been played.
It is the best baseball that's ever been played.
And he earned as much as like a replacement level starter. He earned $8 million for that, and the rest of it he just wouldn't.
An average college football quarterback.
Yeah.
DJ Lagway is probably getting $2 million at Baylor. I don't know his finances, but yes, that's what Shohei was making to pitch and hit and lead them to World Series and championships. But now he could be, again, I heard a Jeff Ward with the Bernie Madoff commitment. This really could be the sports version of Bernie Madoff with the biggest names in the game who are owed all this money, and they're left holding the receipt. And they have no leverage. They don't have anything on Mark Walter other than a handshake and a promise. And if he sells the Dodgers and now this is out, if I'm talking about it at 7:23 on Austin, Texas, everybody knows this. What are they going to buy it for? I'm not buying those contracts, guys. I'll help bail you out. I want to own the Dodgers, big picture. But he also overinflated his media deal, all types of things. And who knows what they're going to find. I'm just pointing out this thing is a bombshell, an atom bombshell for the game of baseball and for the world of sports, because it's the Lakers and the Dodgers.
And I'm putting on my tinfoil hat here. How much did the other owners know when they're like,
gotta ask?
Look at what the Dodgers are doing. We can't do what the Dodgers are doing. Turns out the Dodgers can't do what the Dodgers are doing.
Well, the idea is you inflate the market. Your media deal gets inflated, so It looks like you certainly have the cash on hand. Which again, so to show you, Ohtani's not signing this deal. Well, again, he had an interpreter who was duping him out of a bunch of money. But the idea is, my agents looking at this, they're not signing this unless they believe the capital is there.
Of course.
And maybe the capital was going to be there, and Mark Walters has simply gotten over his skis, and the market has changed, and he can't pay this back, all those things. But now we know the answer to the question, why did he sell the Lakers in 72 hours, 14 months after buying them? And the next shoe to drop will be the Dodgers. And we just played the financial. He's got to sell some stuff because he owes this money, and he doesn't have enough yet.
And how much did the other owners know, knowing that they're about to start, arguing for a salary cap in this new labor market, new labor deal?
Well, that's all to come. All to come. I'm sitting here with Shohei Ohtani going, oh, man. How's he feeling this morning?
That's crazy.
The Milwaukee Brewers' chances of winning the World Series or getting the World Series just went escalated.
Like, imagine if they'd
You think Kyle Tucker's having a hard time in right field with some distractions? I mean, all these guys who deferred money are like, wait a second. It's like the live golfers who thought that there was this fountain of money all the time that's now going away, and they're like, what the heck? You guys promised me. Well, sorry, we're out. Come sue us in Saudi Arabia.
Do the other guys have that clause in their contract?
Yeah, well, I don't think so. I don't know that for a fact. I know Shohei does. He's got the opt-out deal. But again, opt-out to what? They're about to be in a lockout.
Can you imagine if everybody that's on the Dodgers, all these big-name guys, just are free agents?
Because you would say that.
Very funny.
Well, Shohei Ohtani would say, okay, I'm free agent. I'm 31 years old. I'm good.
Yeah.
Sign me.
I'm Tyler Glasnow. I'm Blake Snell. I'm Kyle Tucker. I'm Teoscar Hernandez.
Yeah, guess what, guys? We're in a lockout. And by the time we come back, we might have a salary cap. And Shohei Ohtani somewhere going, damn, Mark Walter. That's a story. I've done this radio thing a long time. That is a massive story.
Unprecedented.
Oh my gosh. Okay, well, there it is. That's the layout. And meanwhile, you're asking your parents about the fart corner. So hopefully that's going well for you. Ask your teachers. Don't blame me for it. Don't blame me for it if you get in trouble for asking if you could have a fart corner. I guess you could. You could say the guy on the radio was talking about it.
Yeah. If I were in
Who would be
student
against
council,
that?
I would run on that platform.
The fart corner.
Fart corner in every classroom.
Would you have to put like a little drape or something? Like you can go behind the fart corner curtain?
I think so.
Could there be some type of muffling device in there, like a
Like an NFL blue tent.
you know, like when I go to sleep at night? One of the things I've added is a sound machine. Do you like these? And I found it on my phone. It's great. It is what it sounds like when I sleep. That's my sound machine.
Just have a fan. My fan is
My fan's not
sound
loud
machine.
enough, so I've gone to this and it's great. So
Crank my fan to the loudest.
maybe you could do that in the fart corner, just muffled,
a little white noise, little brown
muffled.
noise.
Yeah. Relax the cheeks. All
Now
right.
your Spotify or whatever's your number one song is going to be white noise.
That's fine. I like it. Calming. What do you think? Speaking of cheeks, how's Shohei Ohtani's cheeks feeling right about now?
Tight.
I would guess.